Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. In the last audio of Mahalaya part 2, we saw which of the dates are the best dates for doing a Sakrind Mahalaya Shraddham, which means a planned Shraddham on one of the 15 or 16 days of Mahalayam. One single day where you call the Pandits at home or the Vadhyar at home and perform the Hiranya Shraddham or Parvana Shraddham, whatever. Those people who are continuing Tarpanam for 16 days, they will anyway continue all the 16 days. But then one day Shraddham should be performed by everyone at least, if not all the days. So this Shraddham could be with the Agni, like we do for annual Shraddham, or Hiranya Vidhanam, which means by giving rice and dal as well as raw banana to the Brahmanas and doing the Shraddham. So now we are going to speak about the banned dates, the dates where you should not select to perform this Sakrind Mahalaya Shraddham or the single Shraddham. So single Shraddhams are not supposed to be performed on certain days. Chaturthyam urdhvam anishidha ekasmin dine va yatha shaktihi kuryuhu. So if you are doing a single Shraddham like this in Mahalayam, then you should perform after Chaturthi only. Between Prathamai and Chaturthi you should not perform. So the date selection for a single day Shraddham should be Panchami and above. But let us say if you say that my father and mother's annual Shraddha Tithi is between the Prathamai as well as Chaturthi, means their death tithi could be Prathamai, Dvitiya, Tritiya or Chaturthi. I wish to do that. Then there is no problem. Because there is a reason for doing because of the tithi. Though in Mahalaya it is not compulsory to perform on the tithi of the demise of father and mother. But if you wish to, and if it is falling between first Prathamai and Chaturthi, then you can do it. There is no problem. But without reason you should not do. Similarly, what are the other days where the Shraddham should not be performed? Nandayam Bhargavadine Trayodashyam Trijanmani Yeshu Shraddhanna Kurvita Grihi Putra Dhanakshayat. Nandayam. So Nanda means Prathamai, Shashti and Ekadashi. These 3 days Shraddham should not be done. The one who are doing Sakrind Mahalaya Shraddham. Bhargava Dine, Friday it should not be done. Trayodashyam, in Trayodashi it should not be done. Trijanmani means the person who is performing the Mahalaya Shraddham, his Janma Nakshatra, his wife's Janma Nakshatra and his first son's Janma Nakshatra. These 3 days you should not perform the Shraddham. Because if you perform this Shraddham, Yeshu Shraddham na kurvita, don't do Shraddham on this day because Grihi Putra Dhanakshayat, the householder or Grihasthan, his son and money, both will not stay for long with him. This is what has been mentioned. Apart from this, some other banned days. Prajapatyecha Paushnecha Pityakshe Bhargave Tatha Yastu Shraddham Prakurvita Tasya Putro Vinashyati. Prajapatye means on Rohini Nakshatram. Paushne means Revati Nakshatram. Pitraksham means Magha Nakshatram. So these 3 nakshatras you should not perform the Shraddha, because if you perform the Shraddha on these 3 days, then your first son will die, is what has been mentioned. Apart from this, many people ask that what should we do in Amavasya? Should we do Mahalaya Shraddham in Amavasya? Mahalaya Shraddham in Amavasya has been reserved only for some category of people, not for the general category. Aputro Anagnikaschaiva Vidava Brahmacharinaha Darshe Mahalayam Kuryuhu Putravan Varjayet Grihi. The one who doesn't have any children, he should perform Shraddham only on Amavasya. In the sense, Shraddham I am speaking about. Tarpanam all days can be done, but Shraddham should be done on Amavasya. Anagnikaha, widower, Vidhava, widow, Brahmacharinaha, the one who has not got married, Brahmachari. These people, for them, 4 category of people, the Amavasya has been reserved. Putravan varjayet grihi. The one who has children and who is grihastha, he should avoid these days. Now there is a very, very important point to understand amongst all this prohibition rules. On these days you should not do the Shraddham or fix up the Shraddham. You may be confused. Then we are left only with a few days for selection. No, it's not like that. Because Dharma Shastra says, Amapate bharanyancha dvadashyam paksha madhyagecha vyatipata yoge tithim tatha titincha nakshatram varancha na vishodhayet. If it is Bharani Nakshatra, if it is Dwadashi, if it is Paksha Madhyaga, means Ashtami, if it is Vyatipata Yoga on that particular day, then all these previous rules which have been told just now are cancelled. Which means, if these 4 things which I just mentioned, starting from Bharani, if that comes, then you don't need to look at Tithi, you don't need to look at any Nakshatram, you don't need to look at any week, you have no banning rules. Don't do any analysis, just do the Shraddham, because this is an overpowering rule which removes all the ban. And Amavasya anyway has been mentioned as Vishesham, no doubt. But this 4 category people only it is Vishesham. So if you are a grihastha, married man, and if you are not a widow or widower, then definitely, and if you have children, then you should select some other day. So these elaborate rules for Mahalaya Paksha has been mentioned by rishis so that increased merits of Pitru satisfaction can be given if performed on these days. For you to analyze and decide by looking at the Panchanga. So what you need to do is carefully listen to this audio repeatedly, note it down in your notebook, because just by listening once you will not get it, and then decide a date by opening the Panchanga and then accordingly fix up the single day Shraddham. So Darpana who are doing for all days, they have to continue. This is for those people who are doing Shraddham on one day during the 16 days of Mahalaya. Kindly spread this information to more number of people. Namo Namaha.